What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? We are finally back. It is 12:30 p.m. Today is Wednesday, the 27th of September, 2023. And my friends, we are finally back. I know it's been a couple weeks. It's been a pretty hectic couple weeks. I was out of town. Then it was my birthday. Then I got sick. I got sick. Had some sort of COVID. I'm not sure. I was sick for like 2 weeks. So I've been kind of out of it for a little bit, but we're back, guys. Today we are doing the show solo. The BTC Queen is currently on the other side of the world, out in Asia. I'm not sure exactly where, but she's out in Asia right now. She's gonna be there, I think, for a few months. So we're trying to figure out a time that's gonna work for both of us going forward, so that she can still jump on the show with us. But without further ado, let's talk about what's going on today. What we're gonna be talking about. The main things we're going to be covering, as always, we're going to be taking a look at Bitcoin's price. We're going to look at the overall market. We're going to take a look at the economic calendar for the rest of this week and looking into next month, because we're basically at the end of September. And September actually hasn't been too bad. You know, after a really rough August, we thought maybe September it would continue a little bit, but we're pretty much. We've just kind of been consolidating after that August drop. So we're going to take a look at that. And we're going to take a look at a possible double bottom pattern that's setting us up for the fourth quarter, for October, November, December, as we jump into 2024. As you guys know, I'm very bullish on 2024. This could be that trampoline to bounce us up and get that momentum going for the end of the year, going into 2024. So we're going to take a look at that. And then at the end of it, I'm going to look at some trade setups. We've been doing pretty good in the trade room. We haven't missed a trade this month. We haven't taken many, but we've taken about 4 or 5 trades, but we've hit on all these trades. So we're going to take a look at some trade setups and a Q&A at the end. If you guys have any questions for me, make sure to drop it in the comments, and I'll get to them at the end of this live stream. So let's go ahead and jump in to let's start with the price here. So let's go ahead and take a look at the price. Let me switch to my monitor here. There we go. So as you guys can see, Bitcoin is currently sitting at $26,272. So we've kind of been here for the last, about 3 or 4 days, right? Kind of been in this little range here. And this, of course, this drop here was back in August. Middle of August, we had the big, massive drop. We had a move right back up and then right back down. And then we've kind of pretty much just been consolidating after that drop in August. So that's currently where we are. If we take a look at the rest of the market, we can see right here, over the last 7 days, Bitcoin's down about 3%. Ethereum's down about 1.5%. BNB down about 1.5%. XRP down 3%. Cardano down 4%. Taking a look if there's anything that looks out of this world. Solana down 5%. Toncoin down 12%. Nothing really stands out to me. Polymatic down 6.5%. Bitcoin Cash up almost 7%. Chainlink up 10%. So that's a surprising one. You know, I spoke about Chainlink a few times as one of my long-term projects there. Let's go ahead and take a look at the biggest winners and losers over the last 7 days. So if we take a look here, we have Curve DAO as the biggest winner, up 17% over the last week. We have Terra Luna Classic making a move back into the top 100, up 12%. Fract Share up 11%. Chainlink up 10%. We just spoke about that. And Maker up 9.6%. If we take a look at the worst performing coins over the last week, we have Toncoin down 13%. XDC Network down 12%, Bitcoin down 9%, Casper Network down 8%, Optimism down 7.7%. So let's go ahead and take a look at the economic calendar for the rest of this week. So we really have nothing going on, not too much going on here today. What we have today that's not on here is we actually have Gary Gensler, the chair of the SEC, testifying in front of Congress and basically getting grilled. I've seen a few clips on him getting grilled, and they were asking him about is Bitcoin a security or not, and he refused to answer if it was a security. Like, he would not say, and the guy was like, no, just tell me. I just want to know, is it a security? And then I think he said, well, it passes or doesn't pass the Howey test or whatever it is, and so because of that, it's we consider it a commodity. Or I don't think he said that. I think the guy said, so Bitcoin is a commodity. Is that what we're saying? And then, like, whenever he would ask him directly, he would go back to, well, you know, based on the Howey test, da 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 da. So he didn't want to directly answer if Bitcoin was or was not a security. He would keep taking it back to the Howey test, and how they, based on the Howey test, is how they figure out whether something is a security. It's oh my god, it's really annoying. Anyways, that's basically what's been going on today. Obviously, hasn't really affected the market at all. Tomorrow we have GDP. Oh, we have my dog Teddy. I'm live on air, Teddy. No, hey Teddy. Sorry, guys. So we have tomorrow GDP growth rate. That's going to come out at 8:30 a.m. Again, I don't really think this is going to impact, bring a lot of volatility into the market unless it's something, you know, out of this world that was not, you know, super really far from consensus type thing. Then on Friday, we have the core PCE. Again, don't think this is going to impact markets too much unless it's really far away from what the market was expecting type thing. So if we look onto October, then the next big event is pretty much going to be the second week of October, second week of October, the 12th of October, when we have, of course, the inflation reports there. So the previous one came in at 4.3%, so it's kind of hot. We don't know what the consensus is yet for the one in October when we get that report. So as we get closer, we'll have a better idea on what the market expects, and, you know, be able to kind of take some guesses and predictions on what we can do based on that information. So we'll talk about that once we get closer to that date. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the news. What's been going on in the markets? So the first thing here, I just pulled up a few articles here on some of the stuff that's been popping up in my feed. First thing here is Bitcoin being recognized as a digital currency in Shanghai. So, you know, kind of a big deal, because if you remember, like, how many times has China you know, banned Bitcoin? So now it's being recognized as a digital currency out in Shanghai. You know, pretty bullish overall, I would say, for Bitcoin. Another thing coming up that was popping up this week, Chase Bank to ban crypto-related payments for UK customers. So basically what that means is if you have anything, and it's the email said it right here, if we think you're making a payment related to crypto assets, we'll decline it. So basically, if you're buying anything that has to do with crypto, or buying crypto, or if it even looks like it has anything to do with crypto, they basically will be denying it. So if you bank with Chase, that's something to be aware of. In other news, we have the Federal Reserve saying that stablecoins could become a source of financial instability. So, I mean, we've we've heard it a million times, right? Whether it's crypto, stable coins, whatever it is, they're always trying to take shots at the crypto industry here. And as you guys can see here, Federal report a break the buck threshold for stable coins. Notably, the report identified a discrete break the buck threshold for stablecoins around 99 cents. The report states that below this price, redemptions accelerate rapidly as investors panic that the dollar peg will be lost. This mirrors tipping points in money market fund runs. So they're trying to compare it to money market fund runs, and of course, that is something that has always been, something in crypto. We saw it with UST, right? When that depegged, what happened, right? So it's saying stablecoins are vulnerable to runs during periods of broad crypto market dislocation, as well as that word, stress events. So now one thing and look, and it even says here, Terra USD. Stablecoin models differ, and algorithmic coins like Terra USD lack reserves backing major rivals like Tether. That's also possibly one of the reasons that caused the downfall of Terra USD. So Terra USD, remember, that fell because they did not have reserves, right? So that was the main issue there. So, something like Tether, I don't know. There's always been a lot of things trying to take shots, a lot of people trying to take down Tether. That's always a risk, and that would the same way that USD, that Terra USD crashed the crypto market. If another stable coin crashed or depegged, it's the same thing would happen, right? It would crash the crypto market. So because everybody will be running basically out of crypto at that point. So that's why there's always been this risk on Tether. So I mean, for the most part, I try not to keep money in things like Tether and things like that. Sometimes you have to, and I would say Tether is probably one of the safer ones. But that's a risk that you do take. So that's something you should be aware of, not to have all of your funds or a lot of funds in one stable coin. So, that's just kind of part of crypto, right? In other news, House lawmakers push SEC to approve spot Bitcoin ETFs. So, the U.S. Congress members asked Gensler, I don't know if let me see, was this today or yesterday? So that was yesterday. It looks like the committee wrote a letter to Gary Gensler urging him to approve pending spot Bitcoin ETF applications. And as we know, that's something that they just continue to delay, right? Recently, I think we just saw one. Let me see, was it this week? I'm pretty sure this week we saw another thing. I think it was the ARK Bitcoin ARK ETF or whatever. The spot ETF was delayed into January, right? So there's been a bunch of spot ETF applications, and they all just slowly get delayed, right? Whenever the date of approval comes up, they continue to delay them. I think that's probably going to continue happening as long as the SEC chair is there, Gary Gensler. So obviously he has a vendetta against crypto. People in crypto did something very, very wrong to this man. He has a personal vendetta against it. So I expect that this will continue happening until he is out of office. The presidential election is coming up next year, I believe. So once there's a different president, then they'll be able to get him out of office. Gary Gensler. Till then, I'm expecting that we see this same thing all throughout the rest of this year, probably throughout next year. And his job is pretty much on the line. So maybe there's a reason. Maybe there's a way where he cracks and finally approves one of these spot Bitcoin ETFs. But it's not looking like it. He's seeming to be very, very against it. So we'll see what happens. Speaking of Mr. Gary Gensler, U.S. Congressman threatens SEC's Gary Gensler with subpoena. So I actually saw a clip of this. It was Congressman McHenry during his while he was talking to Gary Gensler. It says his assessment of Gensler's transparency regarding the bankrupt cryptocurrency exchange. Moreover, he discussed Gensler's lack of responsiveness, which continues to be unacceptable amid committee oversight. So basically, he threatened the SEC chair with a subpoena because there's no clarity. There's no transparency, right? They're showing nothing. They're giving us nothing. They're asking for things and they're not showing anything, right? So we have no idea what's going on. And you can see the clip right here. But basically, he got called out and he said if they don't get transparency, that they're going to subpoena the SEC, and it'll be the first time in the history that Congress has to subpoena the SEC or subpoena the SEC chair, because they refuse to basically set up a pathway for regulation for crypto. They refuse to even answer any type of questions to give clarity on that pathway. And they're just kind of attacking crypto for no reason, right? With no, there's no pathway to it. There's no regulation for it. And they're just going and attacking everybody and saying that they're wrong, right? Without giving any clarity. So ultimately, McHenry stated that the committee's patience is wearing thin. And he noted that the SEC is not above the law, while noting that compliance from regulators is routing regarding congressional oversight. Finally, McHenry called for a path forward where the SEC is responsive to requests. Alternatively, the committee would have no choice but to issue the first congressional subpoena to the SEC. So, very interesting to see how this plays out. In other news, Hong Kong's Mixin network hack leads to $200 million loss. So if you guys don't know about this, it's a decentralized crypto network, and it was hacked for $200 million. Guys, we've talked about it lots of times. Be careful with where you have your money, especially a significant amount of money. Very easy to get hacked for one of these decentralized exchanges and networks to get hacked. So be very careful with all that, guys. Not your keys, not your wallet, and if you just have it in an exchange, there's a high risk of you losing that money. So be very careful with that, guys. On some bullish news, for Bitcoin, MicroStrategy buys an additional $147 million worth of Bitcoin. So they continue to add to their position. You can see here, MicroStrategy acquired an additional 5,445 Bitcoin for $147.3 million at an average price of $27,000. As of the 24th of September, so 3 days ago, MicroStrategy now holds 158,245 Bitcoin acquired for $4.68 billion at an average price of $29,582 per Bitcoin. That's insane, guys. That is an insane amount. $4.68 billion. Wow. So, I mean, 4.86, right? Let's say that they get to, let's say that Bitcoin gets to $100,000. Right now, how much do they have? 158, 245 times 100,000. So they would stand to basically be at 15.8 billion if Bitcoin were to get to that price. 15.8 billion from 4.6 billion. That's pretty crazy. That is a pretty good return, right? And the last thing that we have, the last piece of news, Coinbase completes registration with Central Bank of Spain. So this is bullish for those in Spain. You'll be able to, I think you'll be able to use Coinbase once. I don't know if it's already available or if they're setting up. Let's see if it gives a date here. I'm not sure. I don't see a date, but basically, I personally use Coinbase. It's the way that I use to basically get fiat in and fiat out of crypto. And they are a publicly traded company. That's why I trust it a little bit more in order to do that, to get to ramp on, ramp off type thing. And it's very easy to use, right? It's a very simple, easy app to use. So I think that's bullish for crypto overall. So now that we have covered all the news, I'm gonna give you guys a few moments if you have any questions. If not, we're gonna continue on to the analysis here for this week, right? And like the title on this video says, is there a Bitcoin double bottom? So that's one of the main things that I am looking at, that I've been watching for this week. So we're going to talk about that, how that could potentially play out, and then we'll go from there. Remember, at the end of this, we're going to do a Q&A at the end of this. So if you have any questions about anything that we're covering, that we're talking about here, make sure to drop it in the comments. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Let me pull up really quick. Where is my report that I did for this week? So every week, basically, for my Discord members, I do a market update, where I do basically a full breakdown, full report, where I talk about, we look at the economic calendar, we look at the DXY, which is a dollar. We look at for a top-down analysis on Bitcoin, looking at support and resistance, chart patterns, liquidity levels, imbalances, wick fills, and then of course trade entries. So we're gonna kind of go through the report real quick and talk about some of the stuff that I've been seeing here. So let's see. All right, so as you guys can see, let's start off with the DXY review, which is a dollar. And as you guys can see, if we kind of zoom out a bit, let's go to the weekly here. We're at the dollar is currently at a big resistance level here. That's, it's been a big resistance over here. It's been a big support over here. Support, resistance there, and we're here once again, right? So obviously that's a big level. Another thing is that look at how many weeks in a row. This is a weekly chart, guys. How many weeks in a row we've been going up? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 11 weeks in a row, the dollar has gone up, right? This is a US dollar currency index. So now at this current resistance, what's going to happen here? So one thing that could play out is something like this, where we had this very clear support level, right? That it's used many times. Then all of a sudden it broke below the support level before then running in the opposite direction. So this is called a deviation, right? That's something that could be playing out here, where we're at this resistance level. We've been rejected from it multiple times. This could be a deviation here where we kind of break out a little bit, trap some long positions, and then head down, right? Because how much longer are we going to be continue going up like this? The reason that this is important is because the DXY
correlates a lot with Bitcoin, since Bitcoin for the most part trades against the dollar. So that's why we always like to look at the dollar chart when also, you know, and kind of have an idea and keep in mind what's going on there to see what could happen with Bitcoin. Because if we look when this move started back in the 17th of July, if we pull up Bitcoin chart here and we look up the 17th of July, let's see, it's June. All right, 17th of July is right there. Let's grab this. So from July to right now, Bitcoin is currently down 13% since this move up began in the dollar index, right? So with 11 weeks in a row of the dollar index going up, during that time, Bitcoin's price has dropped 13%. So, you know, there's definitely correlation in there, right? Now, let's look at the current chart here, and we're going to take a look at what's been going on, right? Let's start here in the monthly, and then work our way down here. So on the monthly chart for Bitcoin here, you can see we had the big rejection. We had the big rejection here that was at that $32,000 level, and then we've pretty much been consolidating, going a little lower ever since, right? Now, as far as resistance, that's gonna be the main resistance there. As far as the support levels here, so if we look back on this chart, we look back in history for some support here, we can see there's definitely support in that $25,000 area. We can see right there, and all of these here, that's all in that $24,000 to $25,000 support. We can see that $26,000 is a minor support here where Bitcoin's price has been basically hanging on. So that's the overview there. And if we go lower, we can see, of course, obviously we have lower supports down here. We have the bottom of this market that was way down here. So let's go ahead and jump into the weekly here, and it gives a clear idea on what's going on more immediately. So this is where I was looking at that potential double bottom. So first, let's look at what happened up here. So remember, probably about a month ago, we spoke about this right here, which was a double top pattern. And when we saw this double top pattern, we said, all right, the potential here, if we lose the neckline, is for a drop down towards that $23,000 area. And although we didn't go all the way to $23,000, which was our target from the double top pattern, we did drop to $24,397. So we got pretty close to that target. So now what is it that I'm seeing here? Well, it looks like price wants to jump back up, right? It looks like price is holding. Price has been holding very, very strong here. We see a lot of these doji candles. We see basically price getting bought up anytime it goes into that $25,000 to $24,000 area. We see a lot of indecision, and also the volume has continued to drop as the price has gone down. So when price moves a lot in one direction while volume continues to drop, usually that means there's a reversal coming or something of that nature. So that's currently what we're watching. So if we expect price to jump here at this current range, then that would mean this is a bottom, just like this bottom, right? So that's why we started talking about a potential double bottom here. because if we get a break to the upside here, let me show you guys what the target is. Our target here is gonna be about that $36,000 range. That's basically the target that I am looking at if this ends up being a valid double bottom pattern, right? So right now, the main resistance that we have this resistance up here from that drop. So it's currently sitting around 27,500, which is exactly the top of where we were last week, right? That we got rejected at. So that's currently where that's sitting. And we have, of course, this strong support here at $25,000. As long as this support holds here, eventually a move has to happen, right? If we end up breaking to the upside, my upside target is going to be around that $36,000 range, $37,000, which also happens to be a big resistance level for Bitcoin there. Excuse me. So this is definitely a big level that I'm watching here. I want to see. Oh my God! This whole time I've been showing you guys my face. I apologize, guys. I meant to show you guys the chart. I'm showing you guys my face that whole time. My bad. So, like I was saying, now that you guys can actually see the chart, this is the double bottom here that we've been looking at. We have this bottom here that happened last time before we had the big move up. Then we had another rejection that set up that double top, right? But now what's happening after setting up that double top, we got the rejection. Our target was 23,000. We went down as low as 24.3K, right? That was that bottom there. And now, because price has been getting bought up, it's setting up a double bottom. So if this plays out the same way the double top played out previously, my expectation, my target is around $36,000, $37,000. Doesn't mean we're going to get 100% of the way there. But if we get anywhere close to there, meaning $34,000, $35,000, that's still a great start here. Now, another piece of the puzzle that points to this potentially happening is that August, September are the worst months for Bitcoin historically, right? As we go into October, November, December, those are historically Bitcoin's best months. So if we think as we go into the fourth quarter that Bitcoin's price is going to go up during the end of this year, and as we move into 2024 with the Bitcoin halving coming up, with interest rate cuts eventually coming up next year, guys, this is setting up for the beginning of that next move up, right? If we're expecting all that to happen, then that means that this is probably going to play out for the end of this year. Remember, this is the weekly chart here. So this could, if we look at this pattern here, we could still stay here through August pretty much. Through October pretty much. But I'm thinking in October, something has to give here, and Bitcoin's price is going to have to pick a direction. Historically, October is a bullish month for Bitcoin. We're getting closer to the Bitcoin halving. I think that if we break out here, we should definitely get higher levels towards that end of the year. So that would put us above $32,000, and potentially we can go up to as high as $36,000, $37,000 by year's end. That's kind of my thoughts here if this plays out. Now, if this gets invalidated, we could potentially go lower here. The next main support is of course $20,000. There's some minor supports on the way down. You have a minor support at 23, another minor support at 22, 21. Of course, the big one, the main one being 20K, right? But from what I'm seeing right now, I'm thinking there's a potential here for a breakout to the upside here with this double bottom pattern. So that's the main thing that we're watching here in at Bitcoin Daily. We have the clear resistances there at $28,000 that we see here, right here around 28,000. That's going to be the around the neckline for Bitcoin if we break out of here. We have, of course, a big support here at 25,000, and we have this downward trend resistance. So we need to basically break out of there to then move into this range here. So as far as if we go into, let's jump into the daily now and look for some trade setups that you can potentially use if this happens here. So let me get rid of these here. All right, so right now, as it stands, we're at that 26K. Let me actually go to a different chart here. We're at that $26,000 level. There's a lot of support here. So I actually entered a position 2 days ago at 26,200, which is exactly where we're at right now. Took profit at 26,500, 26,750 here today. And actually am re-entering this trade today as well, 26,200. I feel very comfortable entering here. Now, what I'm doing on this trade is I'm laddering my entry because even though there's some minor support here at 26,000, price can go lower. So I have my next entry set up around 25,800, which is pretty much where all of this has been. So price has gone there a lot of times. So I have my second entry there at 25,800. So if you're able to fill here at 26,200, if we go lower, fill again at 25,800, and that basically gives you a price of $26,000, an average entry of $26,000. You can set up your stop loss just below 25,500. So it will be a $500 risk, right? A risk of $500 for Bitcoin's price. If we look at these lows here, that's basically where the majority of them have stayed above 25,500. We've had a couple deviations, of course. We had this deviation, we had these two, and we had this deviation. So there could be a deviation. If there is, close out the trade, reevaluate. If we see the move, if we see the go kind of deviate like this and it start bouncing back up, we could just re-enter the trade at 25,500. So that's kind of the plan here. We'll have a average entry of 26,500, $500 risk, $500 profit. So it's a 1-to-1 risk to reward. Now, if the second entry doesn't trigger, then just take profits as normal, right? We're just taking profits. So we're taking profits 26,500, 26,750. And then again, as we get to that $27,000 area, I'm taking profits again. Once we get up here, then that's when I'm starting to potentially look for a short entry because we've been rejected so many times in this range. So close to that $28,000 area, I'm looking, if I see rejections, then I'm looking for a short, right? If not, if I see that price is breaking through 28,000, then $28,000 is a breakout entry potential, because that $28,000 could lead us to $29,000 and $30,000, which was the range that we were in before. So in order for us to break back into this range that we were at up here, we definitely got to get that above that big resistance, which is currently sitting at $28,000. So that's a play right there, that if you guys want to make that as a breakout entry there. The last thing is, if we go lower here, at $25,000 in that range, I am entering long positions here. I am buying here. So that's basically the trade setups that I'm playing this week. If you guys are interested in seeing our trade setups every single week, every single day, exactly what it is that I'm doing when I'm getting in and out, because as you guys know, every single day, as price makes a move, these things change. Teddy, apologize again, once again for my pup. Once these things move, then things change. So when things change, you gotta be ready to also make a change with it. So if you guys are interested for any of that, you guys can join my Discord. We haven't missed a trade in September. That link is in the description of this video here, so feel free to check that out, guys. That's pretty much it, guys. We've covered everything that's been going on in the overall market. We've covered the economic calendar for this week. Spoke about some of the news going on this week in Bitcoin. Analysis on Bitcoin, some trade setups that I am playing this week in Bitcoin, and that's pretty much it. Now, if you guys have any questions about anything that we've covered so far, make sure to drop it in the comments right now, and I'm gonna get to a few questions. If not, then we'll wrap things up here. So I see Ducky Dave and Rivers in here. Shout out to them. Appreciate you guys joining. Ducky Dave says, good to see you streaming again. Any idea why Bybit are stopping UK residents from trading? I think it's just very similar to the US, right? They're trying to, what they call, quote unquote, protect the people in the UK. It happened in the US. Now there is a workaround. If you're interested in it, contact me, because you will have to KYC. So you can no longer just use a VPN to trade on Bybit. You do have to KYC. There is a way to KYC. There's a way to get it's called a digital residency in another country where it's allowed, and then you can use that to KYC, which is what I did on Bybit. So there is a workaround. If you guys are interested, let me know in the comments, and I'll be happy to either make a video about it or answer you guys on how to do it. Rivers says, just walking in, hope I didn't miss anything. Yeah, you missed the whole thing, man. Yeah, man, no worries, man. We like I said in the beginning of the stream, it's been a crazy, basically, month for me. First I was out of town, then I got back into town. I had my birthday, so I was kind of a blur, right? Then I had to see a bunch of family, had to see friends, Then I got sick. I had like some sort of COVID variant or something. I tested for COVID. It kept coming out negative, but I had all the symptoms, so that knocked me out for about 2 weeks. So that's why I didn't stream for basically the past 3 weeks. Then it was also my girlfriend's birthday, so that was last week. So we're doing a bunch of stuff for her. So now this week, once again, I am back and I am healthy again. So hopefully we'll be able to hit these every week now, consistently once again. So if I don't see any other questions, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys once again. If you stayed here to the end, if you missed anything, there's no worries. You can watch this on replay, or you can listen to this in our podcast up on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon. So wherever you guys listen to your podcast, you guys are able to check this out. I should have it uploaded by tomorrow. So thank you guys once again for tuning in. I will see you guys on the next one. As always, peace and love.